Hey you guys, this video is going to be my story on finding out I was pregnant. So it's going to include what it was like before I was pregnant, what it was like to find out I was pregnant, because obviously I wasn't peeing on a stick for weeks hoping for this day, and I'm also going to go over how my life has changed, comparing how my life was before to how my life changed after that day. So if you're interested in knowing that, then continue watching. Alright, I'm just going to start with letting everybody know that I've had a crazy busy day. I've been up since 7:30 in the morning, and I couldn't fall asleep last night until like 12:31ish, so that was awful. Today I went to my OBGYN, and he told me that Isla looks like she's good in there for a couple more weeks, so that's good because we are hoping that she stays in there until September 1st at least. And he also told me that she will be coming early though, and not to expect around the due date, but to expect any time now until like a week before the due date. So I don't know, like just having that thrown on me it's pretty stressful, but I'm also very, very excited. So anyways, just so everybody knows, well, if you guys want proof here, I am pregnant. Just so everybody's clear, because you guys have only really been seeing my face in the last two videos. Okay, so continuing on with the video. Before I got pregnant, I was 18. So, I was free as a bird. I had figured I didn't actually pass all my classes in high school, so I had not actually got my high school diploma, but at that point in my life, honestly, that wasn't even my main priority, which is silly, but, there's many reasons why Isla has been such a blessing, and that's one of them. She got me to go back to school. But anyway, before I was pregnant, I was, like, my whole life was pretty much just partying and drinking. There was a lot of drinking. Before I was pregnant with her, my best friend was her father. And, I can do another video about him if anybody wants to, if anybody's interested in that, but I'm not going to get into details, but he was my best friend. At that point we weren't dating, we had dated in the past, but we were just very, very close at that point, and he was my rock, he was my everything, he was my best friend, and yeah, so that's what it was like before I got pregnant. We were partying a lot. I was drinking, vodka was my thing. I was drinking about 2 bottles of vodka a week, so it was getting a little out of hand there. And ironically, the night that I did get pregnant, I was obviously drinking, and yeah, so here's the outcome now. My outcome was me being pregnant. So in a way, it is a very big blessing that I did get pregnant, because I had to quit drinking the moment I found out I was pregnant. I found out I was pregnant when I was 2 weeks, around like exactly 2 weeks pregnant, so it was very early on. So I quit drinking that exact day. Oh man. I didn't really have any symptoms of pregnancy. I was a little bit bloated. I did already start to get stretch marks on my hips, which was very weird. I kept saying my hips seem wide, I don't know why, and I was already getting stretch marks at 2 weeks pregnant. Also, I hadn't got my period, obviously, so but we had scares before, and it never had happened, so I don't know, nothing can prepare you for that exact moment. Like, I would have wished that when I took that test, that I would have been a mom who a woman who had completed school, had a career. I was married, and we were expecting, like, we were trying for a baby, so that when I peed on that stick, it could have been happiness, like just pure happiness and joy, and just to like save that moment and keep it in my mind. But for me, obviously, my initial thought was, oh shit. I remember looking at it and thinking, there's no way this is happening. There's no way. I remember the next day, I hadn't told anybody. The next day I took another one. The first one I took was a first response, just with the lines, the double lines. The second one I took was the clear blue that says how far along you were, and that's the one that said I was 2 weeks. And that's when I was like, no freaking way. So I thought something was going on. I was like, okay, there's some crazy hormone in my body or something that's making my body think I'm pregnant, but I'm not actually pregnant. Joke's on me. I was pregnant. I texted one of my friends who had already had a baby previously, and I sent her the picture. She was the first person I told, and she's like, yeah, you're pregnant as... So I went over, I was freaking out, and I went over to one of my best friend's house, Melvin, and I told him I was pregnant, and he told me he was not surprised. I ended up actually taking the pee test with me and losing it somewhere in his room, and we freaked out about it, and it took us like 10 minutes to find it. But anyway, the pee test was found, and everyone was safe. But that is how that went down. That's when I texted Isla's dad, and I said, you need to call me right away. He was at work. I said, it's an emergency, like, you need to call. So he phoned, and I said, I took a pregnancy test, and it was positive. And there was silence on the phone. And I said, hello? And he said, you're joking, right? And I said, I'm not joking. I am 100% serious. I'm pregnant. And he said, what are we going to do? And I said, I don't know. We'll have to talk. I'll come meet up with you, and we'll figure it out from there. Little did I know at this point that he was planning on not keeping her. So I went over there. I picked him up from work, and we discussed it, and he just told me, we can't do this. We can't do this. And I said, at this point, like, you haven't made any decisions. You just found out, and you need support, you need help. I was expecting that he would be, that support that I needed. But that was the beginning of me losing my best friend. That was the day that everything changed. Everything. Anyways, I went home that night after talking to her dad, and I don't know, at that point, reality doesn't really hit. It's kind of like, there's no proof. Like, you have the test, but it's like you're not feeling any movements yet. You're not experiencing really any side effects of pregnancy because you're not showing yet. You're so small still. And I went home, and I remember I was feeling this happiness in my heart, but at the same time it was like, holy, like, this is happening, but was it really happening? Like, you can't describe that moment when you find out that you are 18 and pregnant. Like, it's a scary thing, and the fact that I didn't have the support from him that I needed, that was very difficult for me. And that should have been my cue right there, that it was best for me not to stay close. But yep, that didn't happen. I fought through like 7 months of my pregnancy to stay his best friend, to keep him as my best friend, which honestly was a very poor decision on my part. So anyways, that initial moment of peeing on the stick, that was just shock. That was just utter shock. Like, no way. Then I had told 2 friends and her dad. After that, I went home. I went to bed, and I remember just touching my belly when I was going to bed and just saying, I will take care of you. I'm scared. I don't know what to do, but it's gonna be okay. I just remember thinking it's gonna be okay. I remember praying as well and just needing help. I remember texting one of the greatest supports I have in my life. I don't know if he wants me to put his name on here, so I'm going to avoid that. But honestly, I remember texting him and telling him and saying, you can't tell anybody. Like, this is serious, and I need your support. And he's always supported me because before I got pregnant, I have severe depression and anxiety, and some post-traumatic stress disorder, and he has always been there. He has helped me so much, so immensely, and I appreciate him. I don't know what I would do without him, honestly. Like, he's pretty much like the rock. Like, when all else, if I have nothing, he's always there. He's been a great friend to me, and I am extremely blessed to have him in my life. So anyways, that was my little rant on him. But anyway, so those are the only people that I am told. The next day, I remember I went into work, and I had shown my boss, we're very close, she's like a sister to me, and a couple of my coworkers who are also like sisters to me. I showed them a picture of the pregnancy test, and I said, I was freaking out. Like, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm scared. What happened was they were all like, holy, like, everyone's in shock, obviously. This wasn't planned. I'm 18. They'd been warning me about this guy for how long? They'd been telling me to not stick around, and here I am. I did, and now I'm pregnant. Anyways, so I was at work, and I just kept crying. And I remember I said to my boss, I said, I need to text my mom and tell her now. And she said, you're going to text your mom. I said, I got to text my mom. Can I do it now? So she allowed me to text my mom. And I said to her, I said, Mom, you're going to freak out, but I need you to love me. And I was too scared to tell her on the phone. I just told her over text message, but I said, Mom, I need you. I'm scared. I said, I took 2 pregnancy tests and they were positive. And she just replied saying, now your life's going to change. I started bawling. I was crying. I felt such relief to have told my mom. I felt such happiness. I felt like this was happening. Like, I was prepared to deal with the consequences now of keeping this baby, and I was going to do it. She asked me, she told me the options. She said she's going to support me no matter what, and I said I'm keeping the baby. Then I also texted my dad, whom as previously I told you, I don't see very often. He was just excited. My mom's initial reaction was upsetness, fear, grief. My dad was just excited to be a grandpa. So that's the way that went. I was too scared to tell my grandmother. That was atrocious. I went upstairs and crying, and when I told her, she thought I was joking. She had a meltdown. She said some things that she probably regrets now, but that's okay. That's the first initial thing. It's the grief. It's the fear, which we all had. I had a lot of fear for my future. I had fear for my siblings' futures. I had fear for my mom's future, my baby's future. It's a really scary thing. Sorry, I'm like babbling on. I don't know if you guys are going to watch it this long. But anyway, yes, so when I told my grandma, after that, she kind of settled down, and she's been extremely supportive since. With my papa, who in the previous video I told you was my grandfather, not my dad. My mom talk to him, so I have no idea how he took that. But he has been extremely supportive of me since then as well, and I am extremely blessed with my family. And I don't know what I would do without them, honestly. After that, I quit work. I went back to school. I got the income from the government while I was in high school. I quit drinking. I quit drinking. I quit smoking. I quit self-harm. Self-harm was a big thing. Isla helped me a lot. She helped me a lot. You had asked why I decided to keep her. I just knew I was a mommy. I meant to be a mommy. I'm going to give her a life. I have something to live for now. I have something to give myself to. So that was definitely the initial reasoning behind it. This was my baby growing inside me. I'm not going to go into detail because I'll make other videos on how my pregnancy has gone from the beginning. But basically, after the initial telling of my main family members, I posted a picture on Facebook saying a baby due September 27th with a little balloon in front of my belly. And yes, I had a few complications during the pregnancy, which I will also discuss in a later video. But yeah, so how my life has changed. Well, again, I quit smoking, drinking, self-harm. I lost many friends, which could be just because I had finished high school and we're all moving on. I have also, a lot of my friends were just party friends. So if I'm not drinking, they're not hanging out with me, you know? So, I don't know. Things got pretty boring around here. I lost my best friend. I lost Isla's dad as my best friend. Again, I can tell a later story about that. Won't go into too many details, but if you guys want to know more, I can do a video on that. And yeah, that's basically it. It was kind of like one day you woke up and you're no longer a kid anymore. It was like all your childhood was gone. Like being able to go out whenever I wanted, being able to drink whenever I wanted, not having to worry about adult things, not having to adult. But now it's like you wake up and you have no choice. You have to become responsible. You have to. Like, you no longer have a choice. Not like one of those days where you're like, you know what, I'm just going to slack off. I'm just going to do nothing. Because now you are an adult. You need to go to the government. You need to get income. You need to figure out maternity leave. You need to figure out child support. You need to figure out how you're budgeting your money. You need to figure out how you're getting all the stuff for your baby. Car seat, crib, change table, diapers, how you're going to afford that. And on top of it, you're dealing with so much mental stress from losing so much of what you had before. So honestly, it's ridiculous to explain how difficult the situation has been, but how much it has also helped me immensely and given me a new life, a new reason to live. Yes, honestly, that's pretty much the best I can put it. It's like reality just hits hard, is the best way to describe it. You wake up one day and you have to be responsible. It's like something just clicks in your brain, and you just have to do what you have to do, and you know what you have to do. So I don't know, I guess I'm gonna just conclude the video here because now I'm babbling on, but I hope that explains that to you, what you guys were wondering. And thank you very much for taking the time. I don't know if you guys made it this far, but if you did, thank you for taking the time to watch it. And comment, like, subscribe, give me feedback, guys. Thank you for watching.